today I'm going to show you a potato recipe. I know every single week you get potatoes in your box and you're probably thinking by now, ugh, not another potato, what can I do with this? Well, this is a variation on the jacket potato. So you start off by baking it. Best way to do a jacket potato is to make sure it's been forked all over, so just get a fork or a knife or a skewer and just stab it all over. You can, if you've got a little bit of oil, you could rub a little bit of oil on the outside or a little bit of salt, and that helps give it a really nice skin, but you don't have to do that. So just do that. Jacket potatoes are always nicer if you can be bothered to wait for them to cook in the oven. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and it will take about an hour. But you definitely don't want to be waiting an hour for me to cook a jacket potato. So I have got one here. You can see that the skin on this one is really nice and crispy, and it's just, if you put a knife in it, it's nice and tender. See, I'm going to cut it in half. Now you might want to use like an oven glove, or you could get a tea towel or something like that just to hold it with, because it's very, very hot. And just be careful when you cut into it and the steam comes out. But just cut it as neatly in half as possible. Now what we're trying to do here is keep the skin intact. But we're going to scoop out the flesh. So you might want to use your tea towel or your oven glove again, and just rest it in that, because in your hand it's going to be a bit hot. And we're going to scoop the inside out into the bowl, trying to keep that skin completely in one piece, because when we've mixed a load of stuff into the mash, into the potato flesh, we're going to pop it back in the skin and then bake it again. Scoop as much out as possible. I think I've got everything without breaking that. You see, it's still complete. Do the same with the other side. And I'm going to put some cheese, some spring onion and some mustard in these, but you can do anything you like. So it might be nice with some baked beans mushed in, or you could put some tuna in it, or some sweet corn in it, or some other really nice, like some spices. You could, if you like chili, you could put some Tabasco through it. Anything you like, really. I've got some creme fraiche here as well, so if you've got anything like that, that's really nice, kind of mushed through the potato. But keep your skins to one side, and then spring onion. If the outer layer, like an onion really, if the outer layer's not that nice, you can just take one of these branches and kind of pull it down. But this spring onion's super nice, so there's no point getting rid of that outer layer, because it would just be a waste. So just give it a nice wash, and then cut off that very bottom and just trim down the top where it's a little bit kind of tired on the end. You can get rid of that, but with the spring onion you can eat all of it, so the white and the green is all really tasty. I'm going to chop it as finely as possible, and then I'm kind of doing one spring onion per potato, but it's up to you how oniony you want it. I've included some mayonnaise in your box as well this week. So with these same ingredients, if you swap the cheese for the mayonnaise but still use the potatoes, you could make a really nice potato salad. So instead of baking the potatoes, just chop them up with their skin on, boil them in some water until you can put your knife into a potato and it slides easily off your potato. Drain them, let them cool down, and then chop your spring onions again, mix through some mayonnaise and some mustard if you like, and season with some pepper, and then you've got a really nice potato salad as well. But today is absolutely tipping down, so it's definitely more like jacket potato and cheese weather. So I'm going to put all of that spring onion into my bowl. And then if you have got some butter or some sunflower spread or something like that, I think you should have a few little sachets of sunflower spread. You could just put a little bit of butter, so just a corner of butter into the mash, or you could put a bit of creme fraiche or something like that. And then get your cheese. This is about 25 grams, so about the pack of cheese you've got, about that. If you divide it into 8, you've got this sort of amount, and that's enough for one potato. Or if you want it super cheesy, you can use as much cheese as you like. And then just grate it in. My grater only has this really big one, so I've got this other tiny grater, because this really tiny one is nice because it just spreads the cheese out a bit more through the potato. So just grate it all in. Really nice. You can't go wrong really with cheese and baked potato. And you could always serve this with beans on the side, or anything you like really. Spaghetti hoops, mug of soup. So grate that all in. Little piece as well. Watch your fingers. Get it all off the back so you don't waste any. And then I'm going to put a little bit of mustard in. You've got a little sachet, a couple of sachets of mustard. One of those would probably be lovely, but about a teaspoon, I suppose. Pop that in. And then I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and a load of pepper. And then I'm just going to use my spoon to mix it all together. That butter will melt as you go along. You don't really need to mash it as such, because when it's come out of the jacket potato, it's already kind of soft and lovely. But give it a nice mix round so that all those flavours, especially if you're using mustard, just make sure it's all mixed in, otherwise you'll get one mouthful that will have a massive blob of mustard in. But there we go, because we did the cheese so finely, you can't really see the cheese, but it's all through the potato and it should make it taste really yummy. And then use your spoon, get your skin and kind of pack it back in. Because we've added stuff to this, it's going to fill more than the potato, but just kind of mound it in. Do the other half, and then you can always come back to the other one and mound it up. obviously the more you add to the potato, the bigger the quantity it's going to be, but you could have it kind of towering over it. And if you wanted to, you could always grate a little bit more cheese on top, but I quite like it just kind of mixed through. Get all those last bits out, and then all we're going to do is pop those two halves, like pop them on a baking tray and pop them back through the oven for about 15 minutes, or until the top's gone really nice and golden and the cheese has had time to melt throughout that potato, and they'll be the nicest jacket potato you've ever eaten.